She didn't know it was me. What? I changed my name years ago, legally, new business, new image, new identity. She never knew the name Haris Malik. She knew me as Imran. I made sure she wouldn't recognize me. Rania stood, up now, furious. You tricked us, you tricked me. He didn't deny it. I wanted to be close to her again, and when I saw you, her daughter, I realized fate had handed me the perfect revenge. Her blood went cold. Revenge? He smiled bitterly. She left me, without a word, disappeared, married your father within months. She never looked back. I wanted her to feel what I felt, abandoned, powerless, shocked. And you used me for that? I married you, he said simply. Legally, respectfully. I gave your parents everything they wanted, a good match, a stable life for you. You did it to hurt her. I did it to remind her who I am. Rania's knees gave way again, and she sat down heavily on the couch, in the corner. Her wedding night had become a waking nightmare. She thought about running, calling her parents, screaming. But then, a horrible thought hit her. Her mother. What would she say? Did she still have feelings for this man? Would she even believe her? Rania looked up, tears stinging her eyes. I can't be part of this. I didn't ask for any of it. Haris looked at her then, really looked, and for a brief second, his gaze softened. You remind me of her when she was young, shy, honest, but stronger than she looks. I'm not your second chance, Rania snapped, and I'm not your punishment for her. He didn't respond. She stood up again, voice low but firm. I want answers, real ones. Tomorrow morning, I'm going home, and I'm going to ask my mother everything. He gave a slow nod. Ask her, but don't be surprised if the truth hurts even more than you think. He walked to the door and left her alone. Rania sat there all night, not sleeping, not even changing out of her dress. Just sitting, waiting for morning, and when the first rays of sun touched the floor, she picked up her phone and texted her mother, I'm coming over, alone, don't tell Dad. She didn't know what scared her more, Haris's past with her mother, or the possibility that this was only the beginning. Rania stood at the doorstep of her childhood home, fingers trembling as she rang the bell. Her mother opened the door, smiling at first, but the moment she saw Rania's face, no makeup, wedding dress creased, eyes hollow, the smile vanished. Rania, she whispered, stepping aside quickly. What happened? Where's Haris? Rania walked in without answering, her heels clicking softly on the marble floor. Her father wasn't home, just as she had hoped. The house smelled like fresh flowers and tea, but nothing felt warm anymore, not after what she had learned last night. Need to talk to you, she said, voice firm. Her mother closed the door and turned to face her. What's wrong, Beta? You're scaring me. Rania sat down on the edge of the couch, her back straight, her eyes locked on her mother's. Who is Haris? Her mother blinked. He's your husband? No. Who is he, Mom? She pressed, voice rising. Who was he to you? Her mother stiffened. Rania noticed the way her hand gripped the back of the chair, the way her breath caught. She wasn't expecting this. I saw a photo, Rania said quietly. When I was 13, you in someone's arms kissing, it was hidden in your drawer. I never said anything back then, but last night I saw him. It was Haris. Her mother looked like someone had slapped her. No, she whispered. That's not possible. It is, Rania said. He told me. He changed his name. He married me to get close to you, to hurt you. Her mother stumbled back, lowering herself onto the couch slowly. Her face had gone pale. I never imagined. Why didn't you recognize him? Rania asked. You chose him. No, her mother said quickly. Your father arranged everything. He did all the checks, all the meetings. I didn't even meet Haris until the Mendi. That sent a fresh chill down Rania's spine. He didn't even come to the early functions, she murmured. Her mother buried her face in her hands. I loved him, a long time ago. I was just 20. We were supposed to run away together. But you didn't, Rania said. You left him. Her mother looked up, eyes glossy. Because I got pregnant. With your brother. Your grandfather forced me to marry someone respectable, someone stable. Harris didn't have anything back then, just big dreams and anger in his heart. My father said I'd ruin the family name, so I left him, without a word. Rania's mouth went dry. So you broke his heart, she said, and now he married me to punish you. I never knew it was him, her mother said, voice cracking. If I had known... But Rania didn't let her finish. Then what, Mom? You'd have stopped the wedding? Or would you have run away again? Silence hung between them. For the first time in her life, Rania saw her mother not as the perfect woman who made every decision right, but as someone who had made mistakes. Big ones. I'm not angry that you had a past, Rania whispered. I'm angry that you left it unfinished. And now I have to live with the consequences. Her mother reached out to touch her hand, but Rania pulled back. I don't know what to do now, she said. He's not violent, he hasn't hurt me, but he married me for all the wrong reasons. And I don't think he cares about me at all. Just what I represent. Her mother didn't speak for a while. Then she whispered, let me talk to him. No, Rania said sharply. I'll talk to him. You've already had your time with him. Now it's my life. And with that she stood up and walked out the door. The sun was bright now. But in Rania's world, everything felt darker. She knew she had to go back to Harris. But this time, not. As a girl confused and betrayed, this time she would go back with questions. With boundaries. And maybe with the strength to tear it all down if she had to. Rania returned to Harris's apartment just before sunset. The driver had offered to wait, but she dismissed him. She didn't want anyone around. Whatever was about to happen, she wanted to face it alone. The apartment was quiet when she walked in. Too quiet. Harris was in the living room sipping tea like nothing had happened. He looked up when he saw her and smiled as if her stormed-out wedding night had been nothing but a small disagreement. You're back, he said. She didn't return the smile. We need to talk. He placed his cup down and leaned back, on the sofa. I'm listening. Rania stood, arms crossed, like a woman who had aged 10 years overnight. I went to see my mother. His face didn't change, not even a twitch. She told me everything, she continued. About how she left you, about how she was pregnant, about how you never knew. That made Harris flinch, just slightly. You didn't know, did you? He shook his head slowly. No, she never told me. Then why ruin my life over it? Rania snapped. Why not go confront her like a grown man? Why use me? Harris sighed and stood up, walking toward her slowly. You think this was just about revenge, about bitterness, wasn't it? No, he said softly. It started that way, I'll admit that. When I saw her daughter, your photo, I thought it would be poetic. Take the one thing she loves most. Make her feel what I felt when she walked away. Rania's fists clenched. I'm not a thing. He nodded. I know that now. She stared at him, confused. Then what am I to you now? There was a pause. Then he said, someone I didn't expect. Someone I started to care about. Rania almost laughed. You care about me? You lied to my family, you kept secrets, you stood there at the altar knowing exactly what you were doing. Yes, he said, and I regret it now. You regret getting caught, she said coldly. Not doing it. He was silent. Rania walked to the window, arms still folded, voice trembling with restrained rage. You could have walked away. You could have healed on your own terms, but you chose to drag another person into your past. You didn't even think about me. I did, he said quickly. After the first meeting, when I saw you in person, you reminded me so much of her, but you were different, softer, kinder. I didn't expect to like you. She turned sharply. You liked me. Is that supposed to make this okay? No, he admitted. But it's the truth. Rania looked at him, heart twisted with rage, and something else she couldn't name. Do you even know what you've done to me? Harris walked closer but stopped at a respectful distance. I know I hurt you, I used you, and I'm sorry, but I didn't know about the baby. If I had known she was pregnant, I never would have left either. Then why didn't you go find her? Before now. His jaw tightened. Because I was a coward. There it was, no more games. No more charming half-smiles, just a broken man standing in front of a woman he had hurt, maybe more than once. "What do you want now?" Rania asked. "Now that the truth is out." He looked at her, and for once his voice didn't carry any edge. "That's up to you. If you want to leave, I won't stop you. I'll tell your parents the truth. I'll take the blame." She blinked, surprised. "You'd do that?" "Yes. And if I stay, I'll spend every day trying to be the man I should have been in the first place." Rania didn't answer. She turned away, her mind spinning. She needed time, space. Breathing room, not more words, not more confessions. "I'm sleeping in the guest room," she said flatly. "Don't follow me, don't talk to me until I'm ready." And just like that, she walked away from him. Not as his bride, not as a pawn, but as a woman figuring out who the hell she was now. Rania woke up the next morning to silence. She'd barely slept. The guest room was cold, unfamiliar, and smelled like new paint. Her phone buzzed with congratulatory texts, photos from the wedding, and relatives asking how the honeymoon was going. She ignored all of it. Instead, she stared at one message, the last one from her mother. "Beta, are you okay? Please let me know. I haven't told your father anything yet." Rania didn't reply. She couldn't. Her heart was still heavy, and her mind was even worse. Harris had given her space, just like she asked. Not a knock, not a message, not even breakfast outside the door. She appreciated the silence, but it also scared her. By noon, she stepped out of the guest room. Harris wasn't home. The house felt empty. She moved around slowly, wandering from room to room. Then she found the office. The door was slightly open. She pushed it and stepped inside. It was neat, too neat. No clutter, no mess, everything perfectly organized. But there was a locked drawer in the desk. That was the only thing that didn't belong, and next to it a folder that hadn't been shut properly. Rania's curiosity won. She pulled it out, and what she saw chilled her. There were photos, old ones. Her mother and Harris, younger, in different places, hotels, beaches, parks, some intimate, others just nostalgic. But then something caught her eye. A letter. Unopened. Her name was written on it. Rania's hands trembled as she picked it up and unfolded the single sheet inside. "Rania, if you're reading this, it means I didn't have the courage to tell you everything myself. I don't know how things will unfold between us, but I want you to know one thing. You were never part of my revenge. I started with anger, yes, but the more I saw you, the less I wanted to hurt anyone. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I don't even expect your understanding. But there's something you need to know about your mother, something she will never tell you. Ask her what happened to your elder sister." The letter dropped from her hands. "Elder sister?" Rania stumbled backward, breathing hard. There was no elder sister. She was the eldest. Always had been. Her mother had never mentioned another child. Suddenly, the silence in the house felt deafening. She picked up her phone and dialed her mother. The line rang once, twice. "Hello?" came the soft voice on the other. "And you lied to me," Rania said, her voice shaking. "There was another child before me?" There was a pause. "Where did you hear that? Answer me. Was there or not?" Her mother didn't speak for a long time. Then, barely above, a whisper, "Yes." Rania sat down hard. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" "Because she died." Rania froze. "She wasn't even a year old," her mother continued, voice brittle. "I was 19, and she was Harris's. Her entire body went cold. She died of pneumonia. I was too scared to go to the hospital because I hadn't told anyone about her. My father would have killed me if he knew. She died in my arms." Rania couldn't speak, couldn't move. "I buried her myself," her mother said. "And then I left Harris. I couldn't look him in the eye after that. I didn't know how to face what I'd done." Rania's mind was spinning. Her mother hadn't just left Harris. She'd left behind a child. She'd hidden a life. A death. Suddenly, Harris's pain didn't seem so twisted. It seemed real, raw, and in some horrific way justified. Rania ended the call without saying another word. She sat there for a long time, the letter still in her lap, her breath shallow, her heart too full. Everything she knew, about love, marriage, family, was crumbling. And yet, the one man she thought had ruined her life might be the only one who ever gave her the truth. When Harris returned home that evening, the apartment felt different. He could tell the moment he stepped inside. The lights were dimmed, the air was heavy. And then he saw her, standing in the middle of the living room with something in her hand. It was the letter. His steps slowed. "You found it," he said softly. Rania nodded, eyes unreadable. "You left it where you knew I'd find it." He didn't argue. "I hoped you would." She took a breath. "You knew about her, my sister." "I didn't, not when we married, but I found out 2 months ago," Harris admitted, stepping forward. "Someone from your mother's village contacted me anonymously, said they remembered her coming home once with a baby she refused to explain. I didn't believe it until I searched records. Unregistered burial. Unmarked grave." His voice cracked. "You should have told me the second you knew," Rania said coldly. "You let me think I was the only one caught in the web. You kept the one truth that made you human. I didn't want to use her memory as a weapon." He said. "I didn't know how." Rania sat down on the couch, her strength faltering. "She died, and no one even gave her a name." "She had one," Harris said softly, reaching into his coat. He pulled out an old photograph, faded, creased, a tiny baby wrapped in a red blanket. The back read, in faint handwriting, "Amina." Rania's throat tightened. "Why didn't she ever tell you?" "I wish I knew," he said, sitting across from her. "Maybe guilt, maybe shame, maybe she thought it would ruin me." "You really loved her." "I did," he said without hesitation, "but not blindly." Rania looked down at the photo. "Do you still love her?" He paused. "I loved who she was, but the woman I see now, who lied, buried a child, walked away from everything, I don't know her anymore." Silence lingered between them. Then Rania said something that surprised. "Even her, do you hate her?" Haris looked up. His eyes were heavy. "I wanted to. I spent years feeding on that hate, but now, I think, I just pity her." That word, pity, hit hard. It sounded so final, so empty. Rania leaned back, the weight of everything collapsing on her shoulders. "I don't know who I'm angrier at anymore, her, you, myself." "You're not to blame," Harris said gently. "You're just caught in a war that ended years ago. Only the smoke never cleared." She turned to him, eyes glassy. "You married me knowing I'd carry her face, her voice, her blood. I didn't marry you because of her," he said. "Not in the end." Rania blinked. "Then why?" He stared at her, voice barely above a whisper. "Because you looked at me once, like I was worth something. Like I wasn't just the man your family chose." That look, one moment, it undid years of bitterness. Her chest tightened. "That was before I knew who you really were." "I know." He nodded. "That's why I'm not asking you to stay." She stood up, walked past him, stopped by the window. The city lights blurred through her tears. "You ruined something inside me, Harris." "I know," he said again quietly. "And still, you're the only one who ever gave me the truth." He looked up, surprised. "I don't forgive you," she added quickly. "Not yet, maybe never. But I think I understand now." That was all he needed. Not love, not closeness, just understanding. For the first time in days, the tension between them loosened. Not completely, but just enough for breath. Rania turned back to him. "I'm not ready to be your wife, but I want to know who you are, really are, not as her past, not as my husband, just as you." He smiled, bittersweet. "Then let's start over." Her voice dropped. "No vows, no lies. No secrets," he promised. The next few days passed in a strange, suspended silence. Rania and Harris spoke more now, but not like husband and wife, more like two strangers holding the same fragile truth between them, both scared of dropping. And he started cooking breakfast. She started leaving her door open. Sometimes they'd eat at the same table, say a few words. And other times, they'd just sit quietly, sipping tea, watching the city through the big living room window, like two people who knew too much to pretend anymore. But inside Rania, Something had changed. She wasn't just trying to understand Haris anymore. She was questioning everything about herself, her upbringing, her parents, her memories. Were they even real? Her mind kept going back to small things she'd ignored over the years, conversations cut short, photos missing from albums. Her mother's sudden mood swings whenever someone brought up first times or baby years. So she did what she never imagined she would. She went back home unannounced. When her mother opened the door, her face went pale. "Rania? What are you—" "I need answers," Rania said sharply, stepping inside. Her father wasn't home. It was just the two of them. The house smelled of old furniture and stale perfume. The place that once felt like a safe cocoon now felt like a museum of lies. Her mother followed her into the lounge. "What are you talking about?" Rania turned to her, fury bubbling under her skin. "What else did you hide from me?" Her mother's eyes flickered. "I told you everything." "No. You told me what you had to. I want to know the rest. Why didn't you ever tell me about Amina? Why did you erase her from our lives?" Silence. "You didn't just bury her," Rania whispered, stepping closer. "You buried her memory, her name. You pretended she never existed. Why?" Her mother sank onto the sofa like her knees couldn't take it anymore. "I didn't have a choice," she murmured. "You always had a choice," Rania snapped. "You chose silence. You chose to lie to my face my whole life." Her mother looked up, tears welling in her eyes. "You were my second chance. You were the child I could keep. I had to protect that. Protect you." "No," Rania said. "You had to protect yourself." Her mother flinched like she'd been slapped. "You were so scared of your father, so scared of being exposed, you erased your own child. And when I was born, you raised me like I was your redemption story." Tears were streaming down her mother's face now. "I was never allowed to be anything but perfect," Rania went on. "No opinions, no rebellion, because you thought if I just followed the rules, nothing would ever be taken from you again." Her mother buried her face in her hands, sobbing. "I lived my entire life trying to be the daughter you needed to erase your shame," Rania said bitterly. "And you still managed to throw me into the arms of a man whose heart you already broke." Her mother looked up, mascara streaked. "I thought he had moved on. I thought you two would—" "Fall in love?" Rania laughed coldly. "You married me off like a pawn and hoped for romance." The silence was brutal. Then Rania said something soft, so quiet it nearly got lost. "I don't know who I am anymore." Her mother looked up again, broken. "You're still my daughter." "No," Rania said, eyes hollow. "I'm your consequence." She turned to leave. Her mother stood, calling after her. "Rania, please, don't hate me." Rania paused at the door. "I don't, not yet, but I'm getting there." She left the house with no intention of coming back. For the first time in her life, she wasn't scared of breaking the rules, because now she knew those rules were never for her. They were a prison built from someone else's regrets, and she was done living in them. The ride back to her apartment was silent. Her phone buzzed twice, Haris probably wondering if she was okay, but she didn't answer. Not yet. When she finally stepped through the door, Haris was already there, pacing. His eyes flicked up in relief the moment he saw her, but he didn't rush toward her like a hero in a movie. He just stood still, waiting. "Where were you?" he asked gently. She took off her scarf and placed it on the table. "Home," she said. He didn't ask which one. "I confronted her," Rania added. "Told her everything I needed to say. It didn't fix anything, but at least—" "It's out now." He gave a small nod. "You look different." "Feel different," she admitted. "Like someone cracked me open and poured cold water inside." He walked toward her slowly. "You want to talk?" She hesitated, then shook her head. "No, I just want to feel something real." They stood inches apart now. Rania looked up at him. "I don't know if I can love you, Haris. Not after how we started. Not with everything in between." He didn't flinch. "I wouldn't ask you to." "But I also don't want to be the girl who runs," she said. "Not anymore. I've done enough hiding for a lifetime." He exhaled, the weight of months softening in his shoulders. "So what does that mean?" "It means," she said slowly, "we take this one day at a time." As strangers, as friends, maybe one day as something more, or maybe not, but we choose it this time. Both of us. He smiled, not a wide grin, but a small, genuine curve of understanding. That's all I ever wanted. They didn't kiss. They didn't hold hands. They just stood there. Two broken pieces, not trying to fix each other, but finally learning how to live with the cracks. Later that night, Rania sat on the balcony, alone, staring at the moon. It looked full yet lonely, like her. She thought of her sister, of the baby who never got a name until it was too late, of the woman she was supposed to become, and the woman she might still become. And for the first time, she didn't feel ashamed of the questions. She didn't need all the answers. The next morning she did something brave. She emailed the university she once applied to and never followed through. Psychology major. She didn't know if she'd get in. She didn't know if she'd go, but the act of applying, choosing something, was enough. Harris saw the email tab open that evening. He didn't say anything, just made her tea and left it by her side. That night she slept without nightmares, not because the past was gone, but because she'd stopped letting it define her, and somewhere, deep in the quiet spaces of her heart, something new had begun. Not love, not forgiveness, but freedom. But